Hey all. A few days ago I got what I consider to be a very cool watch. It's a Russian watch made by Vostok, probably pronounced Vostok. I'll say Vostok. It's an Amphibia 1967, which is a homage, or I guess a reissue of a watch that Vostok made in 1967, strangely enough. I guess it's modernized a bit over the old one, but it still has the cool retro look to it, and I like it a lot. I like it a whole lot. I've got some pretty nice watches, but I really enjoy this one. So I'm going to open this guy up and kind of show you what it's all about here. It's packed with some simple instructions and this fairly nice box. So here's the watch. Again, this thing isn't packaged like an Omega or a Rolex, but it's packaged darn well enough. And you can see it's got a tonneau case, so it's like a long cushion shape. There's two different models. One has numbers or numerals, Arabic numerals, and then there's this one that just has the plain indexes. I like this one much better. It's kind of more business-like. And the watch just has great wrist presence for me, and just a great all-around look. A lot of Russian watches can look a little bit cheesy. I have a couple other Vostok's Komandirsky models, and compared to this one, those look a little cheesy, although I do like them and I wear them. This one kind of goes above and beyond. This is on a rubber strap. That's a pretty good rubber strap. At first I wasn't sure I would like it, but it turns out I like it pretty well. And there's one thing that I find interesting about its design. I haven't noticed this before on other watches I've had that have rubber straps. It's actually got ridges. You can see these holes. They make it look pretty sporty. But it's actually got ridges here on either side, and I thought I would hate that. I thought it would be really annoying. It is not. And on top of that, it's functional, because I believe it holds the rubber away from your wrist. It's winter right now, so it doesn't matter that much, but it holds the rubber away from your wrist and actually lets these holes circulate some air. So that's a theory I have about why it's designed the way it is. And it's a pretty good flexible rubber. I hope it lasts here in Colorado. It might not. My last watch that had a rubber strap, the strap cracked on it. Anyway, looking at the back of this, it's got pretty simple engraving, or maybe it's just laser cut or etched. It's got the typical Vostok case securing method, where this is a lock ring, and you take the lock ring off and lift this guy off. There's no date. I'm not sure it even has a date. I think that it doesn't. I notice on my particular watch that it's got a straight seconds hand, and I could swear that I've seen others that have a meatball hand with some loom. So there would be a circle about 3/4 of the way out here with some loom on it. I don't really mind it. I kind of wish it had that, but I can certainly live without it. Now, Vostoks are a little weird because of the way their crown works. It's a pretty interesting approach. The crown is actually loose. See how, I don't know if you can tell, that just kind of flops around. At this point it's in winding mode, and if I pull out a bit it'll be in setting mode. And then you just get the threads mashed back up. This one, it's a little tough to get it started. And now it's locked back down. This guy is supposedly 200 meters water resistant. I don't think I'm going to test it, but I'm sure it'll be fine for washing your hands and you know, getting in a rainstorm, that sort of thing. The case, I believe, is 42 millimeters wide, and the lugs are 22 millimeters. One thing I noticed, I wanted to try putting a Nato strap on this guy before I fell in love with the rubber band. I thought I would hate it, and so I right away wanted to put a Nato strap on it. And I pulled the strap off. It was pretty tricky because this strap fits really tightly in there. You can see how it's fitted. And what I discovered is the spring bars, once put back on, are super tight to the case. I couldn't even get a pretty thin Nato strap through where the spring bar is. So then putting the strap back on was really tricky because of the tightness here, and also because there's actually a molded in plastic piece that has a couple of pins in it. So you have to get those pins seated against the case. The case has a couple of depressions in it. You have to get the pins seated and get the spring bar in, and then get the other side of the spring bar in and kind of wedge this all into position. Finally it snaps in. But I had to hold my mouth just the right way to get it done. So long story short, I'm glad I like the rubber. I may consider a mesh, but the rubber's pretty good. I believe the numeric dial version comes with a stainless steel bracelet, which I hear is pretty good. I don't know if I'll try it. I'm not so much into big heavy bracelets. I'm really a Nato strap guy, and now maybe a rubber strap guy. Some of the specs, other specs on this is it has a minimum 30 hours reserve. I haven't tried it. I haven't timed it. It's something like -20 to +60 is what the movement is adjusted to in terms of seconds per day. None of that really matters all that much to me. No automatic watch is perfect. I just like the style of this guy. I think it looks great on. My wife doesn't like it. She says it looks disco, and I said, oh, that's awesome. Not that I like disco, but it means it's very retro looking, and that's why I got it. I just think it's a really cool retro looking dive watch. That's a little unique because of its Russian heritage. So that's about all I have to say. I am going to do a Loom Shot. I love the way this thing looks in the dark once it's charged up. I will say that the charge doesn't seem to last all that long. When I've charged it, walked around for 15-20 minutes, and then looked at it in the dark, I've noticed it's not as bright as when it's initially charged. And it's not as bright by a large margin. So I don't know if it'll last the night. Maybe somebody out there who has one of these can say. Alright, now I'm going to do the Loom Shot. Alright, I'm going to use my flash gun technique for this, which means I point a big camera flash at the thing and hit it with it. And one more time for good measure. I think that is a really attractive face in the dark. It's very businesslike, and the thick indices look really cool, and so does the thick hour hand. Alright then, so that's about all I have to say about this guy. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Thanks for watching, and I'll be back with more watch reviews as time goes on. Thanks a lot. Bye.